Hello everybody, I am making this video to talk about a problem that I had with my Arrma Outcast 4S and of course to present you a possible solution for this issue. I hope that with this video I can help somebody out there who is desperate about the same problem. And this problem is with the slipper clutch that is located here behind this casing. Also, the exact same slipper clutch is used in the model Arrma Kraton 4S, so maybe some of you are struggling with the same or similar problem, so this might be also a solution for you. But before that, just a few words about this RC car. Just because I had this problem does not mean that this ton truck is bad or anything. Quite the reverse, I am very satisfied and happy with my Arrma. And I can and I also will recommend it to anybody out there. So I'm not the best and careful driver, as you can see, but this truck never let me down. So if you're thinking about buying your durable stunt truck, go get this Arrma 4S. This is the right one. But now back to the topic. Like I said, I was very happy with my car, but one of the day, in the middle of driving, my Arrma stopped making wheelies and the acceleration was very low, so it was obvious that the slipper clutch was loose. Small side note, if this will happen to you, please stop your bashing session, because a very loose slipper clutch can lead to some more damage from overheating. So first thing I did, and you should do the same if this will happen to you, is to tighten the slipper clutch back again according to your needs. But in my case, just after a few seconds I had the same situation again and I knew there is some major repair necessary. And my way of solving it I would like to share with you in this video. I am very much convinced that you first have to understand the function of some unit before you can fix it. So I would like to mention some basic functions of the slipper clutch so that you will better understand what is wrong with your RC car and which component you need pay your attention. If you are not interested in such details, so you can skip it, sure, because you can always buy a new slipper clutch and solve your problem this way, right? But if you like to get to the bottom of it or to save some money, then this video can help. So let's begin. To have a better access to the casing of the slipper clutch, you should remove this red element at the center brace bar. This is very easy. You just need to open the upper screws to be able to pull out the pins from both sides, which are holding the brace bar in place. Here we can see the brushless motor, which is bringing the rotation to the spur gear of the slipper clutch. From here the rotation will transfer through the center drive shaft to the front tires through the differential. And the rotation will be also transferred to the back tires through the rear differential. So this is the main task of the slipper clutch. How much torque and power do I want to transfer to my tires from my brushless motor? And there is not really a wrong or right amount, it depends on your preferences. For example, in combination with your punch settings, you can adjust your slipper clutch that way, so you will be able to make a backflip from the stand. Of course it means greater stress on the components, but also a lot of fun. On the other side, if you would like to keep all your four wheels on the ground, and to find out your top speed, you should loosen up your slipper clutch. So that's the good thing about this element. You can set it up individually and stepless according to your needs. And this is how you do it. In the middle of the slipper clutch, there is an adjustment screw. This screw is pushing against a spring that, on the other hand, is pushing the slipper plates together to tighten up the slipper clutch. So all you have to do is to fix the adjustment screw with an Allen key and move the rear tires to the front or to the back. Okay, so what does it mean? If the tires are in rotation, the slipper clutch, including the adjustment screw, is in rotation as well, without making any adjustments. Only if we will fix the screw, there will be a setting of the slipper clutch. So this is the normal case, that the adjustment screw is also in rotation together with the tires if we do not want to change the settings. This is very important to understand. This means that in our case the adjustment screw for some reason was fixed, what led to an unwanted change of the slipper clutch settings while driving the RC car. So all we have to do is to find out the reason for that and to make sure that the adjustment screw can rotate inside of the slipper clutch again. Now let's have a look on the slipper clutch. For that we need to open this screw from the back side so that we can push this red element by side. So now we can pull back the casing of the slipper clutch. There's just one more thing, there's some cable lock we need to remove to avoid any damage. Now pull with both hands the lock of the casing up and at the same time push the casing to the front tires to release it. Here it is, just 3 more screws and we have the slipper clutch in our hands. So now it is open and we can see the inside. There we can change the different pinion with different amount of tools that will have effects on the speed of the car. And the slipper clutch is very easy to remove like that. So now the slipper clutch is removed and I will place it the same way as it is in the Arrma Outcast. This long part transfers the rotation to the front tires and the short part to the rear tires. So these are the main elements of the slipper clutch, the spur gear and the 2 slipper plates. I would like to name the short slipper plate as the rear plate and the long plate as the front plate. And of course here we can see the adjustment screw. To disassemble the slipper clutch we just need to remove the adjustment screw completely. So now I would like to talk about the front plate. If we pull out the adjustment screw, all the other elements, including the spring, come out very easily. And this was not the case at the beginning, because the spring was stuck inside of the front plate. And I would like to show you that. So the same procedure, I'm removing the adjustment screw, and even if the front plate was falling down, the spring was not coming out, so it's very much stuck inside of this element. So it was not easy to get it out, only with a screwdriver I could scratch out the spring. And after that I squeezed the spring to reduce the outer diameter. Not the finest way to do, but it was fine for me. So I squeezed it, put it back in the front plate and repeated the whole procedure until the spring was coming out by just only turning the front plate upside down. But why it is so important to make sure that the spring is placed very loose in the front plate? This I would like to demonstrate. We install back the adjustment screw in the slipper clutch. Arrma recommends a setting with 1.25 rotation back from a total closed slipper clutch position. So if the spring will be totally compressed and get stuck inside in the front plate and we rotate the adjustment screw back, then the spring will not stretch back because it's stuck, but will stay in the same compressed condition. And with that, it will completely lose their required purpose and characteristics. It is now nothing more than a distance plate, and both slipper plates are loose and the slipper clutch is completely open. Of course, I exaggerated in my example, and it was not 1.25 rotation, but I wanted to make it also visually clear to you. Because the front slipper plate does not have any thread and can move freely back and forth, so this is why it is so important that the spring will always put enough pressure on this plate and expand exact the same way as the adjustment screw is rotating back. So after solving the problem with the spring, doesn't matter how, by buying a new one for example, or make some correction on your existing spring, we now need to make sure that the adjustment screw will rotate during the drive. For that, you need to know that only the rear plate has a thread in it. This means that there will be only an adjustment of the slipper clutch when the rear slipper plate is rotating and the adjustment screw is fixed, or the other way around. And that means if we do not want to change the settings on the slipper clutch, we need to make sure that the adjustment screw is making exact the same rotation as the rear slipper plate. To solve that, I chose the simple way. For me, I worked with some blue Loctite and put some drops from the back side of the rear slipper plate. Please do me a favor and wait at least for 24 hours before putting all back together. Otherwise, you will be never able to dismantle it again. Believe me, I made this experience, so you can trust me. To get sure, just make 2 or 3 days out of it. And just to name it, there is also another solution. You can buy a slipper clutch maintenance set on the internet. It includes a nut that will hold everything better together, but I never tried this out. So that's it, and for the end, a short summary. Step 1, make sure that the spring will not get stuck. Step 2, use blue Loctite to fixate the adjustment screw in your requested position. And the last step is please wait for at least 24 hours before putting everything back together. It worked for me. I hope there's somebody out there who is looking for some solution and I could help. Here the results.
Alles gut.
Wann kann ich aufhören?
Wann kann ich aufhören, Papa?
Noch ein bisschen.
Okay.
Noch einmal durch den Rasen fahren.
Dann fahr einmal durch den Rasen. Fertig. Okay. Ein Salto noch. Versprochen. Verstanden? Jetzt fertig.